All right, so we're diving into the world of research assistants in Australia.
Sounds exciting.
It is. You're thinking about this career path, and luckily we've got this awesome guide.
Yeah.
It's called How to Become a Research Assistant.
Okay.
And it's going to help us break down like everything you need to know, from like understanding the role to getting that first job to even figuring out like what kind of money you can make.
Yeah. It's a pretty great time to be thinking about this field,
Right.
especially in Australia. There's so much really cool research going on, and, research assistants are really key to making these discoveries happen.
Yeah, totally. So before we jump ahead, let's start with the basics.
Okay.
What exactly does a research assistant even do?
So research assistants, they're like the backbone of any research project.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones supporting the researchers across like all kinds of fields, from science and tech to history and the arts. They're like the essential link between an idea
Oh, wow.
and actually making it happen.
Okay, so I'm kind of picturing someone in a lab coat, like surrounded by beakers and test tubes.
Uh-huh.
But I know it's not always like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's not always that stereotypical lab setting.
Right.
Research assistants wear a lot of hats.
Yep.
They collect data through experiment surveys.
Okay.
They dig into existing data sets, and then they have to analyze all that data using software programs like SPSS, which is a statistical analysis tool, and even programming languages like Python.
Python, that's like serious stuff.
It is.
So aspiring research assistants, they should be comfortable with tech too.
It definitely helps. Technical skills are becoming more and more important in research,
Yeah.
but the guide actually reassures us that you can develop these skills along the way.
Okay, that's good to know. So let's say someone's listening right now and thinking, okay, this sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But how do I even start down this path?
Well, the guide lays out a pretty clear path. It all starts with education. You'll need a bachelor's degree in a relevant field,
Okay.
and an honors year or even a master's degree can really increase your chances.
An honors year. Could you explain that a bit more for our listeners who might not be familiar with like the Australian system?
Sure. So in Australia, an honors year is like an extra year of study
Oh,
after your bachelor's degree,
okay.
where you really focus on research and complete a big research project. It's like a stepping stone to a master's degree,
Okay.
and it shows potential employers that you've got a solid foundation in research.
Got it. So it's not just about like hitting the books.
Yeah.
It's about like choosing your academic path strategically.
Uh-huh.
But is a master's degree always necessary?
Okay.
Sounds like a big commitment.
It is a commitment. While a master's degree isn't mandatory for every research assistant position, it can make you a much stronger candidate. It shows a deeper level of knowledge.
Yeah.
And those all-important advanced research skills, think of it as leveling up
Okay.
in the research world.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing practical experience is just as important as like those fancy degrees.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hands-on experience is so valuable. The guide really emphasizes internships, volunteering, even entry-level roles as crucial steps. It's all about getting your feet wet and learning the ropes.
I can definitely relate to that. I remember volunteering in a psychology lab during my undergrad.
Oh, cool.
It wasn't always glamorous.
Uh,
I spent hours coding data, but it taught me so much about research methods and like the importance of paying attention to detail.
yeah. Those types of experiences are so valuable. They build your skills.
Yeah,
But they also help you figure out what areas of research you're really interested in.
for sure. Okay, so we've got education.
Yep.
We've got practical experience covered.
Uh-huh.
Now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic. Salary.
Uh-huh. Well,
What can research assistants in Australia expect to earn?
I'm glad you brought that up. The guide actually gives us some real numbers,
Okay, good.
which is always helpful.
Yeah.
Starting salaries for research assistants seem to be in the range of like 65,000 to 75,000 Australian dollars per year.
Not bad. But I imagine that can go up with experience.
Oh, absolutely. With experience, you can climb to $90,000
Wow.
or even over $100,000, especially in cities like Sydney and Melbourne.
Makes sense.
Location definitely plays a role in how much you can earn.
So it seems like location is something to think about when you're planning your research career.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the money,
Right?
right?
Yeah.
Which research fields are really hot right now in Australia? Where's all the action happening?
That's a great question. The guide highlights some really exciting fields that are experiencing a surge in demand.
Okay, spill the beans.
Mm-hmm.
What fields are we talking about?
Okay, so biomedical research is booming,
Okay.
with a major focus on developing personalized medicine and tackling these global health challenges, like antibiotic resistance. Imagine being part of a team developing a cure for a debilitating disease.
Yeah,
That's the kind of impact you could have.
that's huge.
Hmm.
What other fields are on the rise?
Okay, so data science is another huge area with applications in pretty much every industry.
It's amazing how data is transforming everything these days.
I know, right? And then there's environmental science, which is super critical for
Yeah.
addressing climate change and sustainability.
Mhm.
Researchers in this field are working on everything from renewable energy technologies
Wow.
to protecting biodiversity.
Given the urgency of environmental issues, I
Mhm.
can see why that field would be in such high demand.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we can't forget about the social sciences,
Oh, yeah, of course.
which explore human behavior and societal trends,
Yeah.
helping us understand and address those complex social issues.
So many fascinating areas to explore.
There really are.
Yeah.
And last but not least,
Okay.
the guide highlights clinical trials
Yeah.
as a field with huge potential. This is where new drugs and therapies are tested,
Yeah.
playing a crucial role in bringing life-saving treatments to people.
It sounds like there's a lot of exciting work being done in Australia
Yeah,
with research assistants playing a vital role.
for sure.
But knowing which fields are in demand
Yeah.
is just one piece of the puzzle.
Mhm.
What about actually getting a research assistant job?
Hmm?
What tips does the guide offer?
It outlines 5 key strategies that we can dive into.
Perfect. Let's take a closer look at those tips in the next part.
Okay, so let's jump into those 5 tips for success
Okay.
as a research assistant. Tip number 1
Right.
is all about developing key skills.
Okay. So what kind of skills are we talking about here? What should aspiring research assistants be focusing on?
Well, the guide emphasizes analytical skills as absolutely essential. You need to be able to think, critically analyze data, and draw meaningful conclusions from your research.
Okay.
It's like being a detective, but instead of solving crimes, you're solving research puzzles.
I like that analogy. So it's not just about crunching numbers.
Yeah.
It's about understanding what those numbers actually mean, like in the context of the research.
Exactly. And attention to detail is crucial too.
Okay.
Research often involves really meticulous work,
Right.
and even small errors can have big consequences.
I can imagine.
Imagine missing a crucial piece of data or misinterpreting a result. It could throw off the entire project.
Yeah, that makes sense. Accuracy is key when you're dealing with data and drawing conclusions.
Right. And as we touched on earlier, technical proficiency is becoming increasingly important.
Uh-huh.
Being comfortable with research software like SPSS
Right.
and having some programming knowledge, especially in Python,
Right.
can be a major asset.
You mentioned Python earlier.
Yeah.
For those of us who aren't programmers,
Uh-huh.
can you give like a quick example of how a research assistant might actually use Python?
Sure. Let's say you have a huge data set
Okay.
with thousands of entries. You could use Python to automate the process of cleaning and organizing that data,
Wow.
which would save you hours of manual work and free up more time for analysis and interpretation.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So we've got analytical skills,
Yep.
attention to detail,
Yeah.
and technical proficiency. What else?
Communication, both written and verbal communication skills, are essential.
Okay.
You'll need to be able to clearly explain your findings and reports,
Mm.
presentations and discussions with your research team. Think about it. What good is groundbreaking research
Yeah.
if you can't communicate its importance to others?
That's a really great point. So it's not enough to be brilliant in the lab.
Yeah,
You need to be able to share that brilliance with the world.
exactly.
Yeah.
And finally,
Okay.
strong organizational skills are key.
Okay.
Research projects can be complex with multiple moving parts, deadlines, and data that's always evolving.
Yeah, for sure.
Being able to stay organized, manage your time effectively, and keep meticulous records is essential.
All of these skills honestly sound like good advice for anyone,
Uh-huh.
not just aspiring research assistants.
They really are transferable skills
Yeah.
that will serve you well in any field.
All right, moving on to tip number 2,
Okay.
building a strong network.
Yeah,
I'm guessing this isn't just about collecting LinkedIn connections.
you got it. Networking is about building genuine relationships
Okay.
with other researchers and professionals in your field. The guide suggests attending conferences, joining relevant professional organizations, and engaging in online research communities.
Conferences sound like a great way to immerse yourself in the research world,
Yeah,
meet like-minded people, and learn about the latest discoveries.
they are. And professional organizations like
Right.
the Australasian Research Management Society
Right.
provide opportunities to connect with peers, learn from experienced researchers, and stay updated on industry trends.
And what about online networking?
Yeah.
Are there specific platforms or communities that are particularly valuable for research assistants?
Definitely. So LinkedIn is a must-have for professional networking.
Uh-huh.
And there are many research-focused groups and forums where you can connect with other researchers, ask questions, and share your work.
Okay.
Twitter is also surprisingly useful
All right.
for following research trends and connecting with experts in your field.
Interesting. So building a network is all about like expanding your horizons,
Yeah.
learning from others,
Yeah.
and kind of finding your tribe in the research world.
Yeah, exactly. It's about creating a support system and a community
Yeah.
where you can learn, grow, and collaborate.
Okay. Tip number 3
All right.
focuses on crafting a stellar application. Let's be honest, the job application process can be daunting.
It can be.
Any advice on how to stand out from the crowd?
Well, the guide emphasizes tailoring your resume and cover letter to each specific research position.
Okay. So no more generic resumes and cover letters that
Right.
you just blast out to every job posting.
Definitely not. Take the time to research the position, the
That's thick.
research team, and the institution. Highlight the skills and experiences
Okay.
that are most relevant to that specific role.
So it's about showing them that you've done your homework
Yeah,
and that you're genuinely interested in contributing to their research.
exactly. Think of it as a conversation.
Okay.
Your resume and cover letter are your chance to introduce yourself, showcase your skills,
Right.
and explain why you'd be a valuable asset to their team.
And what about the dreaded cover letter? Any tips on making it compelling?
Keep it concise and focused. Start by clearly stating your interest in the position
Okay.
and the research being conducted. Then highlight your relevant skills and experience,
Mhm.
providing concrete examples of how you've applied those skills in previous roles or projects.
I like that. It's about showing, not just telling.
Right. And don't forget to proofread carefully
Of course.
and make sure your cover letter is well-written and error-free.
Okay, so you've sent in a stellar application.
Yep.
And drum roll, please.
Uh-huh.
You've landed an interview. Congratulations. What's next?
Time to ace that interview. The guide offers some great tips for this stage as well.
Okay, tip number 4, acing the interview.
All right.
I'm all ears.
So first and foremost, do your research. Go beyond just reading the job description. Delve into the research project, the researchers involved, and any recent publications or findings related to their work.
So basically show them that you're not just interested in any research assistant job.
Yeah.
You're specifically interested in their work.
Exactly. Demonstrate that you've taken the time to understand their research and that you're genuinely curious about their findings and the questions they're exploring.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
What else should I keep in mind during the interview?
Be prepared to discuss your research experience in detail. Think about specific projects you've worked on,
Okay.
the challenges you faced, and the skills you developed.
So it's not just about listing your experience on your resume.
Right.
It's about being able to tell the story of your research journey.
Exactly. And don't forget to prepare thoughtful answers
Okay.
to common interview questions like,
Oh, yeah.
why are you interested in this position? Or what are your strengths and weaknesses?
Those can be tricky questions.
Mhm.
Any tips on how to handle those?
For the why are you interested question, be specific. Tie your interests and skills to the specific research project or the institution's mission.
I see.
And for the strengths and weaknesses question, be honest but strategic. Highlight your strengths that align with the role's requirements. And for weaknesses, choose something you're actively working on improving.
I like that. It shows that you're self-aware and committed to growth.
Exactly. And remember to be yourself, relax, and let your passion for research shine through.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. What's the final tip?
Tip number 5 is all about committing to continuous learning.
That makes sense. The research world is constantly evolving, so it's important to stay curious and keep learning, right?
Absolutely. The guide encourages research assistants to attend workshops and conferences,
Okay.
seek feedback from their supervisors and colleagues, and document their work meticulously.
Workshops and conferences sound like great ways to learn about new research methods,
Yeah,
technologies, and trends.
they are. And seeking feedback,
Yeah.
though it can sometimes feel a bit daunting, is one of the best ways to learn and grow as a researcher. Don't be afraid to ask your supervisors and colleagues for their insights and advice.
And documenting your work.
Yeah.
It's all about keeping good records, right?
Yes, detailed records are essential for tracking your progress, analyzing your findings, and sharing your work with others. Think of it as creating a roadmap of your research journey.
All right, so we've got 5 tips. Developing key skills, building a strong network, crafting a stellar application, acing the interview, and committing to continuous learning.
Yeah.
It sounds like a solid roadmap for success as a research assistant.
It is. And
Yeah.
remember,
Yeah.
landing the job is just the beginning.
Yeah.
The real excitement comes from the research itself,
Yeah,
the discoveries you make, and the contributions you make to your field.
totally. It really is. It's a journey of constant, discovery and growth.
Couldn't agree more.
So we've covered a lot in this deep dive into, the world of research assistants in Australia.
Yeah.
We've explored what the role actually involves, the skills and qualifications you need, those exciting research fields that are booming right now, and even practical tips for getting that dream research assistant job.
It's been quite a journey.
It really has. So for our listener who's ready to jump into this research assistant world in Australia, what's the key takeaway?
I think you're in a prime position to grab some incredible opportunities.
Okay.
Australia is a hub for innovation and discovery, and research assistants are essential in shaping that future.
Yeah.
The possibilities are endless.
And remember this guide, How to Become a Research Assistant, that we've been talking about. It's a fantastic place to start.
Yeah.
But it's your own curiosity, your passion, and your dedication that will really drive your success.
Absolutely. So as you start on this exciting path,
Yeah.
let's end with a thought-provoking question.
No.
What research area are you most passionate about?
Ooh, good one.
And how can you start gaining experience in that field today?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those hot fields we talked about, like biomedical research, data science, environmental science, social sciences, or clinical trials.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're interested in something totally different.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, don't wait.
Yeah.
Start exploring, connect with people in that field, and begin building those skills that we talked about.
And if you're ready to start looking for research assistant positions, academicjobs.com is a fantastic resource.
Oh, that's a great tip. Can you tell us a little bit more about academicjobs.com?
Sure. So it's Australia's go-to website for university and research jobs.
Oh, wow.
They list positions from all the top universities and research institutions in Australia, New Zealand, and the surrounding countries.
Yeah.
It's like a one-stop shop for anyone who wants to kickstart their research career in this part of the world.
So if you're dreaming of working at a prestigious university
Yeah.
or contributing to groundbreaking research in Australia, definitely check out academicjobs.com.
Definitely.
Good luck with your search and happy researching.